Connor, I thought that on this show, right, we got a rule on this episode.
Nearly 150 episodes in, and you're telling me now.
Well, it's a
There's
rule.
a rule.
There's a rule only for this episode.
I didn't know this.
Only for this episode.
All right.
The rule is, whenever we say the title of the episode we're reviewing today, which is...
Smile. We got to smile.
Yes, that, but also, we have to play this sting.
I love it.
That's Uncle Cracker.
That's why you love that song, hey?
I did as a kid because it was like the main song they used on Pack to the Rafters, which was like an Aussie drama.
Yeah, okay.
I just bloody loved as a kid. But yeah, so we're playing that every time we say smile. That's going to get old.
What's his name?
Uncle Cracker.
Yeah, let's just hope Uncle Cracker doesn't copyright us.
Yeah, I know, right? It's only like 4 seconds long, but it's going to get old very quick. I already know it.
That's why we need a soundbite, so you can just go doink,
doink, doink. Very quick, very easy. All right, so yeah, we're going to talk about that episode of Doctor Who today.
I didn't say it in case.
We're going to talk about that episode of Doctor Who today, but also we're going to talk about Ncuti Gatwa and what his involvement in Series 14 is, because there's a couple of question marks around that at the moment.
You mean what involvement?
Whoa! Also, and maybe we can hit this right off the bat, since it's pretty recent news. A little bit of Oscar nom talk.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any feelings of the Oscars this year? Any hot takes now that the nominations are out?
I've started to every year care less and less.
Right, really?
Yeah, I don't really give a fuck about that kind of thing. I think I just don't think it's a great example of what is good and what is
definitely
great. I don't know. I just think it's a bunch of old white rich fucks in Hollywood,
literally,
who just get a selfie with Brad Pitt and then go, okay, we'll chuck you on the
he's just won best actor,
best one. Yeah, exactly. That's literally how it works. It's if you give me a selfie, I'll consider nominating you.
Well, it's pretty laughable because it is a sort of campaign thing. So all these films do campaigns and they come out at a certain time so that they can be recognized and remembered for the Oscars.
Yeah.
But that being said, I do think the movies this year are all pretty good selection in Best Picture.
It's not the worst year I've seen, yeah, for sure.
It's pretty good. There's a few movies that I like that I've not seen that are just taken over, which is All Quiet on the Western Front, which I will watch, and Everywhere All at Once. I think just the idea of the multiverse is just so I don't give a shit. That I've not tackled this movie. I will do it. I will watch all of the movies I haven't seen.
It just got added to Prime. So
it's been on binge for a while as well. So
has it? Oh fuck. Yeah, I haven't seen it either. Yeah,
so I'm gonna hit that up soon. But yeah, I think one of the big takeaways for me was that Doja Cat was snubbed.
Oh god.
That
Do you
song,
think so?
You know Hound Dog? That
yeah.
Oh
yeah.
That's a bop. Come on.
You ain't nothing but a Alright, so is that what your tweet was about yesterday?
Yeah,
about how Doja Cat was snubbed.
Yeah, Elvis would have been nothing without that song. Let me just put that out there.
That's the weirdest thing about that movie is where it's a movie set in the 60s or some shit, and they're playing shit like Doja Cat going, yeah, and they're walking around in the 60s, and it was just really strange. That movie was fine.
It's pretty bananas.
It was pretty bananas. Yeah.
It's a lot of a movie.
It was. You didn't get 1 second to sit still.
Yeah. It was an interesting one.
So what do you want to win Best Picture?
What do I want to win? It's hard to say because, like I said, I've only seen half of them. Some of the movies aren't out in Australia yet, and they will be over the next coming weeks. But currently where I sit at the moment, I think Banshees of Inisherin does stand a good chance at winning.
Mm-hmm.
And I hope it does. And you know what I was thinking was a movie that I don't think is the best movie of the year, but a movie that I think encapsulates cinema this year and how important of a movie it is.
Fabelmans.
No, I don't know. Fabelmans was a good fun time, but I don't think it should win. I think, was that a joke?
Yeah.
Oh. But I honestly ain't mad if Maverick wins.
Oh, okay.
Just because it kept cinemas alive.
Yeah, no, it did.
I'm really not mad if it wins because that's I don't know. It's a very important movie of this year, and I think if it won, it'll be a good reflection of the year. But Banshees has my heart so far.
Yeah, Banshees slapped. Yeah, no, I think you're right because Maverick was the first film apart from No Way Home to crack a bill since COVID.
Yeah.
And obviously, No Way Home was a big ass like Marvel movie, so it was a really good. You're right, like a representation that another film can do it,
and just a good action movie as well. Like they do everything right.
Yeah, and everything about it was like just really, really fun. Yeah, no, I agree. That would be sick. Yeah, I think there's some interesting stuff in there. Is there going to be a host this year, or are they just like throwing that out again?
Jimmy Fallon?
Oh,
is it Fallon or Kimmel?
Is it Kimmel again?
One of the Jimmys.
God.
Oscars host.
Can they just stop?
Okay, it's better than last year, man. Like you know what they need to fix? Yeah, Jimmy Kimmel.
Come on, Kimmel.
So last year, when I was watching it, I was like, God, these hosts suck. And all the jokes that they make have clearly been so manufactured by like 20 white men that don't really care about movies.
Or G.I. Jane 2.
Well, that kind of thing. But so many of the jokes were just like, hey, so we're here to, congratulate you on winning all of your movies. Not that we've seen any of them. And they were just doing a lot of jokes, and I was like, this is not funny. This is cringe, and they're not celebrating movies.
Yeah. That's why I don't really give a shit about it anymore.
It's just interesting, I always think.
It is interesting. I remember when I was first like getting into like film like properly, I felt like you had to be like, really into the Oscars to
not at all.
To like, I like when I was first getting into film, I would like go to the cinema and watch everything, like even stuff I didn't want to watch, because I thought that's how you become a cinemaphile. And you'd have to like give a shit about the Oscars and all that, and it's like who cares? Like I certainly don't.
Yeah, it's a lot to keep up with. Do you
want to hear something crazy? I thought you'd find quite inspiring.
Go on, inspire me.
So, do you know the YouTubers Raka Raka?
Yeah, you told me they've got a big movie.
Yeah.
At Sundance.
It only went and got picked up by A24.
Oh, really? So A24 is publishing it?
How nuts is that?
They're distributing it. Wow, that's wild.
That just shows you, man.
That must be a good film. If A24... Although, I'd say A24 aren't... I don't know. I feel like they're making a lot of stuff now, and it's not consistent as what they were.
Yeah, I know. There was a time when like you go see an A24 flick, and they were like they would like never miss.
Yeah, and I don't think they have made.
And I feel like they're making some strange, interesting stuff. To put it lightly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got that new Ari Aster film coming out. That'll be good. Yeah, that'll be. Beau is Afraid.
Don't know if I've even heard of it.
Yeah, with Joaquin Phoenix. They just dropped the trailer like 2 weeks ago or something like that.
Right, okay.
Yeah, that'd be good. But no, that just shows you, man. Like, I love those guys. They're from Adelaide as well, the Raka Boys, and like, yeah, it's just awesome. Like, it's just really cool. It just shows you, and I think we're going to see more and more of that stuff happen.
Yeah, hopefully.
Now that we're in this like new age of media,
when we make the 50% movie.
Oh God!
What would the 50% movie be about?
I don't know. It sounds kind of cringe because, like, you know how like they did like the Smosh movie and stuff, and they're always shy. I don't know. It had to have a good premise.
We have to have a fight at some point in it.
What, like you threaten to leave the show or something?
Yeah, like there's got to be that kind of drama.
Well, yeah, you need that. You need that.
Do we like incorporate? Peak. Would we incorporate Doctor Who into it? Like in some, obviously it will get mentioned, but would there be like the threat is like a Dalek invasion or some shit?
Oh, what about Doctor Who is like getting cancelled, so we fly to like the UK to like change that, and we could do like some on-set locations in the UK. Like
that's it.
It could be shot mostly here in Perth, but also like we film for like a couple of weeks in the UK.
That's it. If we ever, in a million years' time, if we ever crack a mil subscribers, that's what we're doing. A million subscribers.
I'd do that. I reckon that'd be pretty funny.
Mm-hmm. All right, make it happen. Subscribe. We're close to 600 subscribers.
Yeah.
So we've got a long way to go.
That's easy. Come on.
But yeah, make sure you subscribe so you can hear us talk about Doctor Who every single week. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram at 50Doctor. Connor, a week on, how are you finding the new look for the podcast?
Oh, I love it. I think it looks great. It's still taking me by surprise sometimes when I see it now looking like a
bright yellow thing, yeah.
But no, I really dig it. I think it looks dope.
Yeah. I even though I made it all, I sort of
here you go.
When I put it on, I was looking at like when I changed over all the handles and did like a bulk change on all the platforms together, I was like, I don't like this.
Really?
Yeah. I wasn't like I'm not like this. I knew it was because I wasn't used to it.
Right.
But yeah,
people seem to really dig it.
I hope. If they don't, then too fucking bad. We're the 50% Doctor Who podcast, and we're going to talk about an episode of Doctor Who. Wrong song every
damn time.
Why does this keep happening? No. Oh my god. You can see me pressing.
That was like 4.
Come on.
Something,
There's something wrong. There we go. All right.
You just have to press the wrong one. That's what
50% podcast.
Something keeps copyright striking us.
Oh no, I know what it is. It's fine.
It's that theme, isn't it?
Yeah, it's that theme. It's that little theme.
Are you trying to get us like?
Well, no, we're fine. We're fine. But don't worry.
Are you trying to get us?
No, we talk about this off air. It's fine.
It's just funny. That's all.
Yeah, it's just a long.
It's just funny. Like I love that kind of thing though. It's just like how the hell do they even like do that shit?
They just find us and they search us out.
Yeah, I guess.
They search and they destroy. I'm so annoyed that I pressed the wrong theme. What? Ah, you know why? Because I was pressing. I've got too many themes here that start with 50%. So what I've been pressing is the 50%ies theme rather than the 50% theme. For, like, God forbid.
Wait, what? The 50%?
That was the theme that we used when we did the 50%ies.
Oh, okay.
Oh god, that's annoying. Anyways, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're
just
talking
get Aiden
about
off the soundboard. That's all I gotta say.
Well, yeah. We're talking about Smile today. Yahoo! You make me smile like the sun.
I love how it just cuts.
It is the second episode of the 10th series of the British science fiction television series Doctor Who. It was written by Frank Cottrell Boyce, who you will know from In the Forest of
the Night, yeah.
And broadcast on the 22nd of April 2017 on BBC One. Received generally positive reviews from critics, with people commenting on the Doctor and Bill's growing relationship. In the episode, the Doctor and his new companion Bill Potts, played by Pearl Mackie, visit an off-Earth colony only to find devoid of any life except for robots that communicate via emoji. So yeah, it's an episode that exists. And
it is, yeah.
Definitely at the time, I think both of us did not like it.
Uh-huh.
How does it stack up for you, Connor?
It's just really boring, man.
Yeah, it is. It's
so boring.
Yeah.
I mean, I wanted to, after like the hype of last week, yeah, I was really keen. And I think I definitely was invested to an extent for like maybe 20 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But then that just like went down real quick.
I love the opening scene when they're like stood there awkwardly in the TARDIS.
Right, yeah.
Like, so what happens now?
Yeah, I like it when the stuff just opens like kind of like mid-convo almost. It's like literally where the pilot ended, and it's like when they run into the TARDIS and it just like opens again with that. Yeah, it's good. It's
one of like the things that I've learned with screenwriting over the last year or so is it's so much more interesting to start a scene like midway through the scene than it is to like open the scene up and close off the scene. If you start it and end it at more interesting points, then the audience plays catch up, which makes it more interesting.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And I love Bill being like, why the chair's back here? They should be at the TARDIS console. Do we have seatbelts? Like, all these genuine questions where it's like, why haven't we asked these questions before?
I don't know. Yeah, I but it's just so damn boring. I don't know. Like, I think it's just like, it's just a pretty dumb story. I don't know why this was picked to be like the episode to like kick off their first like adventure, like proper adventure in the TARDIS.
I mean, I think in concept it's fun.
The whole colony thing is cool, but that's about it.
It looks kind of nice in that like futuristic, very colourful setting, albeit I think some parts are a bit oversaturated.
Dude, it was really oversaturated.
Yeah. But I think one of the biggest problems with me is that there's not really a supporting cast. And not that should ever necessarily detract from a story, because we have Heaven Sent, which obviously has no supporting cast but does an excellent job at it. But I think for me, I don't know, the Doctor and Bill, their dynamic is definitely the only sort of interesting thing in this episode. But beyond that, we don't see how Bill interacts with new people from space and things like that. I don't know. I just think it would have been engaging if there was more stuff to it, because the thing is, the plot's so thin that you just like every 10 minutes you get like a minor revelation and it doesn't go anywhere. It never really picks up the pacing. And then, you get a few colony people at the end. Yeah, no, that's like hitting the nail on the head, I think. I when there's a little bit of mystery towards it, it can kind of like engage me a little bit, but I just feel like it just dropped the ball after like 20 minutes and I just couldn't really give like a shit. And it was just like, there was just some like highly convenient stuff. Like randomly they get like earpieces that so convenient.
They can hear each other, and it's like, they clearly want to like split them up so the Doctor could go, and like the Doctor just suddenly just wants to blow up this whole colony, which is like, okay,
yeah,
maybe there's another way of dealing with it, but
and it sort of makes you go, wow, the Doctor's quite problematic. Like he goes around doing this kind of thing, and who knows, maybe in the times past when he's done this, there has been a colony that is blown up. You know,
it's just like it just seems like all over the place and scattered, and like I wouldn't mind all that if like it was actually interesting, but like. It really is fucking boring. I just wanted it to end. It just sucks because like I feel like this could be a really good. It could have been like a really good start to season 10 after episode 1, but it just like it instantly just like drops the ball.
Yeah. I don't know. The most interesting parts of the episode were the stuff early on where they were talking about the vault and they were sort of teasing that, and Matt Lucas rocks up for a scene, and then
Definitely.
I think the Doctor and Bill talk about it for a minute later on. That stuff was the most interesting stuff. The rest of it just... It's weird because it's... I don't want to call it necessarily a filler episode because it's meant to be the first adventure with them and stuff. But so much of this episode is like filler within this relatively filler episode, right? Like it is like just a lot of fluffy scenes where they're just talking about stuff that doesn't make a difference. And it's just dialogue that's not interesting and doesn't really go anywhere. You get what I mean?
Absolutely. It's just a shame, and I don't get Stephen wanting to bring back this guy who wrote In the Forest of the Shy, and then not only that, put him in the second episode.
Yeah,
and not only that, they like agree to do the emoji bots. Which, by the way, I try to go into this episode like trying to get the emoji bots like the benefit of the doubt.
I don't hate them. I'm gonna say that
they're fine, but I just think they're cute motherfuckers. But it's just so cringe.
I liked when one of them was hanging off of the Doctor's boot and then it drops. I kind of wanted it to drop and do like an R2D2 scream as it falls.
What? It's so funny how it is like he thinks it's Bill behind him, like walking up behind him, and it's an emoji bot that's literally going and it's like the Doctor's like, Bill, you're back. And it's like, no, Doctor, turn around, and he sees in the reflection like the evil smiley face of a
I do think that's
emoji bot,
like the changing faces and stuff.
Good lord, give me strength.
I think like the script just thinks that the audience is really dumb a lot of the time because there's times where I would click onto something, and I want to say this isn't because I watched it before. It was all the plot of this episode. I remembered the broad strokes of it, but like I didn't remember a lot of the specifics. And there's times when they find out what was the main thing. They talk about like a colony. No, they talk about how it started with the woman dying.
With grief,
right? And they talk about that. And then there's like a 5-minute conversation. And then at the end of the conversation, they go, well, that means when the people from the colony get here, they're all going to be sad. Or when the people wake up, they're all going to be sad because they're grieving. So they're all going to die. And I'm like, dude, the audience would have come to that conclusion literally 5 minutes ago when you first made that statement. Like, it spells things out too much and it takes too long to get to those revelations. Like, I feel like the best way to write and make something is to have the audience almost be one step behind, especially like an unraveling mystery like Doctor Who often is. But I feel like in this one, it's like the audience was always one step in front of where the Doctor and Bill were. Yeah,
no, definitely. Yeah, I don't think it's not an interesting plot. It doesn't really intrigue me. The whole like they're making like compost out of bones. It's just it all just seems like kind of cringy. I'm not trying to be negative. Like I want to be. I don't think I could have gone into it with a better. I was just like, I'm not gonna love it, and I know that, but let me just try and have fun with it. And it couldn't even do that for me. It couldn't even be like silly fun, like chuck on Doctor Who for 45 minutes and forget about your problems. You know, it wasn't even that. I was just like, sadly, so unengaged that I just couldn't engage myself with it. It's like the kind of episode where like if you're watching like season 10, you're doing like a skim watch where like you can skip episodes and watch the big ones. This is just definitely like you'd watch the pilot and you'd skip this one.
Yeah, which is a shame because it's the first adventure of them together.
It's meant to be something big.
It's special, but it's not. Neither of those things.
It's kind of like it's like a problem the show's always had. Like I've always found the first adventures to be a bit lackluster.
Really? What have we got?
So we got
End of the World.
End of the World. not a huge fan of.
Yeah, I like that more than you from memory.
Shakespeare Code.
Well, Tooth and Claw.
Tooth and Claw, yeah, which is
very good.
Which is okay, actually. And then it's Shakespeare Code that I'm not a huge fan of. I don't
more on rewatch.
like Fires of Pompeii that much.
I love Fires
It's okay. And then Beast Below.
Which isn't great, but I think it was more fun on rewatch. I feel like we kind of enjoyed it a bit more on rewatch.
And then it's Curse of the Black Spot?
Day of the Moon or Curse of the Black Spot, depending on
after the two-parter.
Yeah, okay.
And then it's Rings of Akaton.
Right, well, no, then you're jumping all over the place, mate. Dinosaurs on a Spaceship.
Then Rings of Akaton.
Yep.
Oh, I love it. Are you counting season 7, part 1 and part 2?
Well, that's what you are, apparently. You said Rings of Akaton. Technically the second adventure of...
Oh, yeah, true. And then it's... season 8 is what?
Into the Dalek, which we liked a lot.
Actually, I do like that.
And then 9 would...
it doesn't really count. And then 10, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just don't really like them, is what I'm trying to say. Oh, did I skip New Earth? I like New Earth.
New Earth is episode 1.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I get. I know. I always look at it as like the first of the Christmas special, but yeah. I got like a weird like
your headcanon
Time of Victorious brain right now. Okay, I can't think straight.
Yeah.
Anymore.
I like when I was messaging Connor. We were recording this very early in the morning today, and when we were talking about it,
very early.
I've been up for ages.
Yeah, I know. I'm kidding. Fucking hell, you need to get a couple beers down you. Jesus.
I do.
Chill the fuck out.
When we were organising doing it early, Connor was like getting all pissed off and like going all Time of Victoria or something.
Yeah, I had to.
And my responses were just gifs of David Tennant going, "Have I gone too far?
Have I gone too far?" I'm sorry. I can't sleep at the moment, so I'm just having a bit of issues, okay? And then getting up early, it's like my eyes look bloodshot, like I've been fucking smoking bong since 6 a.m.
You have been.
Absolutely not.
As we've established, is Sleep No More, Connor the drug addict.
Why is it me who's got to be the drug addict? Why can't you be the drug addict?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know enough about drugs.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, you know what?
I could say something, but I'm not gonna. Okay,
what?
go on.
Go on. Say it.
I was gonna say your trip to Amsterdam says differently. But okay.
Everyone's done a bit of that in Amsterdam, mate.
I guess you have to, hey?
Yeah, it's literally like you go through customs and they're like, "Are you going to do weed?" And if you say no, they turn you back around.
Wait.
That's a joke.
Can you actually buy, like... Can't you only buy it in, like, cakes? Or can you not smoke it legally?
Definitely how I got it, but I don't know.
Because everyone says they only eat it in cakes. And I'm like... Because they call them, like, the cafes, don't they? The weird cafes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I wonder if you could just buy a hash.
Yeah. It's strange because it's like you can go to a cafe or you can go to a coffee shop. And they're two very different things.
Yes.
You wouldn't want to get a brownie from a cafe if you're just going with your mum to have a coffee and a brownie.
Do you think people actually, like, mistake that?
Well, when I went on my Top Deck trip, they specified, they were like, just... Like, there is a difference between these two places. Don't make a mistake. I'm sure... I actually think I do know someone who has done that before. I don't know. I don't remember. Anyways, that was our weed chat. So, any more comments on Smile? Kind of hates this episode already.
When I walked in today, I was like, what the fuck are we going to talk about today? Because I knew I had like next to nothing to say about this. I think it's boring.
Well, one last thing. It's more of a statement. It does have a shitty Sonic Screwdriver fixes it ending. Bzzz. I like it's an audio podcast and kind of just lifts his arm.
Is it? Then why is the footage on YouTube?
Well, sorry, yes.
Nah, you're right though. You should always, you know.
You should do like an audio comment. You know how you get the Blu-rays and it's like, to select audio navigation, press enter now. Connor raises
his hand.
I remember like
to symbolize the Sonic Screwdriver.
Ages ago, I was watching A Good Man Goes to War, and I accidentally put on the audio navigation for it, and I couldn't get out of it. I think
I've done that before.
I don't know why I couldn't get out of it either, but yeah, something just happened, and I watched like 10 minutes of audio navigation of A Good Man Goes to War.
So is that for people who are blind?
I'd assume so, or hard of hearing, or something.
Right, okay. I'm still blind.
That's coming up.
That's coming up. Yeah. What I thought was cool though, I like how the pilot ended and it went straight into Smile, and then Smile. You got to play this thing.
Oh, fuck.
You make me smile. All right, and then when that episode ends, it goes straight into Thin Ice.
Yes.
I like that.
I'm glad that's it, though, because
And you see an
I
elephant.
think that kind of thing gets... that kind of thing gets repetitive pretty quick. Do you want to do that impression again? Can you give us a bit of trunk action?
I was doing the ears.
Now you're a one-ear elephant with a trunk. Very
There you
nice. There you go. If anyone wants to gift that, go right ahead.
I'm a bit confused why there's an elephant on the Thames.
I think it's part of the circus, right? That ice better be fucking thick.
Yeah,
Let me
literally.
just tell you that. And it's a thin ice, apparently.
Yeah, no, I think it's boring.
Connor has absolutely had enough of this episode.
I wanted to like it. What else is there to say, really? I mean,
Fuck all.
the Doctor met a prince made out of algae once, and he fancied him.
I like Peter's performance there, where he was like,
He sits there for like 5 seconds.
he looks really scarred. He's like, you fancied me.
All right. Do they mention? Is that a Jim the Fish reference where it's like, it's hard to eat fish when you're friends with one?
I thought that. Yeah, I thought it was.
It's Jim the Fish.
It's Jim the Fish.
Oh, Jim the Fish, how is he?
So, in a bit of news and set talk, right?
News.
Some people I know are cautious of seeing this kind of thing, so if you don't like sort of set talk, then
Some losers.
skip ahead. But it's nothing spoilery at all. The main thing really is just that more set pics have come out, and this time they're shooting with the Whittaker TARDIS still, and it's on a nice cliff top and things like that. And Millie Gibson has been seen a lot there.
Yeah, it's pretty much just Millie.
There has been talk that Ncuti was there. There is a dark-skinned person that has been on set, and people, but the pictures are so blurry you can't tell if it's Ncuti or someone else. And so no one really knows what the go is.
I didn't think it was him.
Yeah, it doesn't. Look
And
like
the costume
right?
the costume looks different as well.
Yeah.
And it looks almost like he's wearing a beanie.
Yeah, I thought
Of some description, which could be part of the costume that we haven't seen. I don't know, but it didn't really look like him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
I don't know what's going on. I said before a couple of weeks ago that we haven't really seen anything from Ncuti at all.
Well, that's the thing. That would be our first glimpse of him on location.
If that
shooting,
is
that
actually
was him. Because everything else we've seen has just been Millie. And we know that Sex Ed are doing, I think, either some pickups or some reshoots at the moment. So he's obviously gone back to star as Eric in that for that. So I'm like, have they had to take him away from Doctor Who to do that? And then they're getting Ncuti stuff later? I don't know.
It's quite possible. I mean, like, that's just kind of how it works, I think. Especially with, if you're dealing with someone like Ncuti who's going to have a lot of, like, plate spinning. You have to deal with stuff like that. I saw people saying it was like the TARDIS was set on like a bit of a hill and like a little bit of a green hill. Yeah. And everyone was like, it looks like classic Who. And I was like, it's a green hill. Are you crazy?
It's
what
weird.
the hell?
It's weird seeing Millie Gibson sort of be on TARDIS shooting locations and it's just her. You know what I mean? That's what I'm like questioning, because it's rare that the companion, especially in her first season, would be like piloting the TARDIS and going out of the TARDIS on her own and stuff.
What if this block was purposely picked because it's a bit of a Doctor Light episode?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Yeah, that could be the case.
Maybe Ncuti's, I don't know, at unit.
Yeah, he's off doing something.
He's doing something. I don't know. But, like, yeah, what if it's like a companion-focused episode?
Yeah, especially if it is 4 or 5. That's kind of a decent time to do it.
Yeah, and then, like, it could be like the Kate and Millie adventure.
That would be cool if it's like she's with Unit the whole time, which debunks the theory that you just said of the Doctor's with Unit. I don't know where he could be. Like, he could be like just... What's the episode where the Tom's just fixing the TARDIS? Yeah, in
I thought that was Shada.
What was that? Oh no, that was is that the Horns of Nymon? Maybe. Yeah. How many Nymons have you seen today? We should do that at some point.
How many Nymons have I seen today?
How many Nymons have you seen today?
What is a Nymon?
Well, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing.
Oh yeah, I'll I'm a bit of a classic Who connoisseur. Connoisseur these days.
Does that make me a classic Who Aiden sure?
Yeah, sure. If you want. Yeah, no. But there's not really much news, is there?
No, there's not. It's just a lot of the same sort of things, which is still always cool to see that.
No, it is. It's always nice to see. And the TARDIS looks very pretty.
It does. I'm glad they've kept the Jodie exterior because that's just one of the highlights of that era.
And it looks a bit more. It looks a bit more like aged almost.
It does, yeah. The windows look a bit dainty.
Oh, what's the TARDIS going to look like
inside?
Do you think they'll change the TARDIS from the 60th or keep it?
I reckon they'll keep it.
It's a big set to build just for 3 episodes.
There was, we won't talk about any specifics from it. So it was just a leak, but it was a very big set, and I'm like, are they? I don't think they would build that just for the 60th, unless Mickey Mouse is like,
hey, come on, man, they got that Disney money now.
Well, we did hear that the Disney money isn't actually what we all heard.
Yeah, well, that was just like he said, she said on Twitter.
Well, the Disney money?
Yeah.
Yeah, Russell debunked it and said like it's nowhere near that much, but it is a healthy budget. So,
well, I don't know if it even needed 10 million per episode.
What are you doing?
Like, what would it need it for? Like, let's be real.
Like, you could probably we don't need it definitely, but something like, you think of the big battles in War of the Sontarans and stuff like that, and that's sort of where a lot of the Game of Thrones budget went. But it's like we don't need to do. War of the Sontarans got away with it. Didn't have any need for $10 million budget. Obviously, a lot of it was CGI. And Game of Thrones uses so much money on like big spectacles like that, where they're not using a lot of CGI. So that's when they need a lot more of that HBO monies.
That HP dough. Well, also, so they said the Doctor Who universe, and they say something like that. That was Babel Studios Doctor Who universe.
Yeah, Babel Studios has a sign on the wall that says the home of the Whoniverse.
So come on, we already knew that we're going to get spin-offs, but this literally kind of like pretty much confirms it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so give us that spin-off money.
All right, Aiden, what spin-off do you want to see the most? It'd help if I spoke into the mic, wouldn't it?
Yeah, you definitely just turned away for no reason.
I'll scratch the back of my head. And
ask me a question, but looks in the complete.
And the audience are like, "What did he say?"
What did he say? Yeah. What spin-off would I like? That's good. I've not thought of that.
If you could pick one, which I'm sure we're getting more than one, but if you could pick one,
it would be, just a somewhat like continuation of the Sarah Jane Adventures. With the kids now being older and. I don't want like a Torchwood MA15 thing. Maybe just like an M show where it addresses some darker themes and stuff that is more real.
And they can say fuck.
They can say fuck. Things that. Yeah, so the Sarah Jane Adventure guys, maybe they're in their late 20s now, and they're dealing with that that point where they're becoming grown-ups, similar to like where we are. And that would be, I don't know, I just think that would be really interesting. And maybe it's like Rani and Clyde, and then a bunch of new characters, and then maybe Ace is involved in that one too. There. What would you like to say, Connor?
I'd like to see like a MA unit show.
An MA unit show? I don't know if we ever get an MA unit one. Kate's like, let's get the fuckers!
Yeah, she's suddenly swearing like heaps, and she's never done it at the show. Yeah, I want to see grenades being thrown at Sontarans, they just explode into like
boom, boom.
Mashed potato.
Boom, boom.
Yeah, like
yeah.
I don't know. That'd be pretty good, wouldn't it?
It could be good.
Yeah.
It could be. I would like to see a unit spin-off, and I do think with all the K action and the unit action we're seeing so far through this new era, I think that could be on the cards.
Why not?
I think it would be like PG or M. I don't think it would be an MA one.
PG.
Just because I don't think a unit spin-off needs an MA one. But
yeah, well, if we get an MA one, like we could have like Weevils run around the street and stuff, and like, hey, Weevils are still out there.
Yeah. That's true.
That'd be cool. Like,
it would be cool to have like a Torchwood continuation, obviously without John Barrowman involved.
Yeah, I think they'll do something like that.
I'd be keen for that, but I'm also like, do we just leave the Torchwood brand now? Because it is just Eve Miles.
But that's the thing, that they could do that as her as like the Captain Jack character per se.
Yeah, and it's like a whole new team.
Yeah.
But it's like, do we need that, or could we just have like a different spin-off with Eve Miles at the front and center?
Torchwood Reborn.
Torchwood Rebirth. I knew there was another R. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to ask you about has completely slipped my... Oh, no. I've got a theory. I do have a theory. So, we're always complaining Oz Comic Con, Perth. No one fucking comes to that. We got Arthur Darvill once. No one has ever come from Doctor Who outside of that, I don't think. Maybe like 30 years ago.
Yeah.
I've got a theory.
Okay.
So, I got an email from Comic-Con a few days ago, and they were like, "Oh, yeah, get ready to buy your tickets." Just because when we went years ago, I was still like, for some reason, subscribed to them or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, interesting. On the same day, I was watching a Tharies video, and Tharies was just reading an article from Sophie Aldred, and in the article, she was like, they were reflecting on Power of the Doctor and things like that. And then they're like, "Oh, so what work she got coming up?" And she said she's got a few conventions around the world that are taking her to the US and to Australia. And I was like, Oz Comic Con Perth is in April, and that's like, I'm like, could she be coming to Perth?
Possibly.
If she is, man,
Possibly.
you know what's going on.
I wonder how many like classic Who fans there are in Perth though. That's the only thing.
Heaps, man.
Do you reckon?
100% there's heaps.
Who?
I don't know.
There you go. You don't know them.
But, okay,
you don't know them.
How big is that a bubble out of like the 30 million people that live in Perth?
Yeah, I know, but Josh made a good point.
What?
They're like, I don't think there's a lot of Doctor Who fans in Adelaide. I agree. I don't think there's a lot of Doctor Who fans in Perth.
I think there is, but I just think it's like...
Who do you know watches the show like us?
Okay, a lot of people. I don't think we're anything out of the ordinary, because it's
really,
like,
I don't really.
I remember
know
when I
people.
used to work at that fast food restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Someone that was like 3 years younger than me had the entire classic collection on like VHS. He got them from our old cleaner at HJ's.
Wow.
I bought a couple of Target books from this bloke who has like an entire Target book collection of like classic Target books. That was just a guy that I just found in like Balcatta area. So I reckon there's a lot. It's just like...
All right, God bless.
Just because they don't like watch Doctor Who YouTube and stuff doesn't mean that there's not people out there.
Where's our audience?
Yeah, where's our 50%?
No. I think it's great. Like, and I want the show to get bigger, and I think it will in the next year or two. And we'll always say we were here first. Obviously,
yeah, put our foot down.
Because we got to be
Since
that.
1963.
We got to be those annoying people who are like, I watched it first.
I don't like doing that.
Remember, I always do that.
That.
No, I do it to annoy you because it works.
Whenever I like send you like a news article, Connor's like, "Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, seen it.
Yeah.
Seen it, boy. Don't worry about that. No, I appreciate it. But it's okay.
You like my blah?
No, I know she did it in the episode that came out last week, and I was like, that's funny. This week, last week for you listening now. So, do you want to do what we watched?
Okay, yeah, let's do that.
I
wasn't prepared. I need to get the theme ready.
Did you need to do? And I just did it.
What did the boys watch this week?
Oh, I saw this one. Fuck.
This is the segment where we talk about things other than Doctor Who that we watched this week. Connor, what did you watch?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Never seen that.
What?
I said, what did you watch? And you said, oh, yeah. Got him.
Alright. Whew. Alright, I finally started a show I wanted to watch for a long time, and it's called Happy Valley.
Okay, yeah. My mum was just watching that.
Yes, so my mum watched it as well.
There's a new season out or something, is there?
Yeah, so it's funny. So the first season came out, I don't remember the date, but then there was a 2-year gap between season 1 and 2, and there's a 7-year gap between 2 and 3, and 3 is the last season.
Right.
But it's written by a woman called Sally Wainwright.
Oh, who was rumoured to...
Yeah.
Write if Russell didn't take over. Yeah.
Exactly. Dude, alright, she needs to write an episode for Who.
Really?
Whoo! So I watched her other show, which is Last Tango in Halifax, which is like, I think there's 6 seasons of that. Maury actually does the score for it, which is crazy.
Very cool.
That show is like dope. Like there is 6 seasons, but there's 1 season with like 2 episodes in it.
Yeah.
And they're just like specials. Yeah, she is like dead set one of the best like writers for the UK. So I finished season 1 this week. I'm on season 2 now. And yeah, it's just an amazing watch. Like it's dead set, just some like great British TV.
Cool.
Highly recommend, and I'll let you know when I finish it.
Very cool. Yeah, I want the full series review.
Will do.
I watched a movie at Luna on Saturday, and it was a movie called Emily, which stars Emma Mackey.
Oh yeah,
it's a movie I've been excited for quite a while.
Yep.
And so yeah, finally went with Nicole to watch it, which is always a great feeling because Nicole, I've said on this before, she loves her Kardashians, she loves all that shit, and so it's a
Housewives.
rarity. What? Yeah, not Desperate Housewives. The what's
Real
it called?
Housewives.
Real Housewives. That's it. So it's a rarity when I'm like, I'm going to go see this movie. And she's like, oh, I want to see that. Let's go. And I was like, I was just going to see it on my own. But it's great to have company.
Company, yeah.
So, yeah, I watched Emily. And it was really good. Yeah. It's a great look at sort of mental health or beyond that, even people with disabilities and things like that when we didn't actually know.
Okay.
Because I think... what was it? I don't want to get this wrong. Let me just Google this.
And when you said Emily, I thought you were referring to what's that movie out at the moment with that dolly in it?
Oh,
Megan.
M3gan.
Yeah, and I was like, is this the movie you wanted to go see? It doesn't seem like so he'd like to go watch.
I'm kind of tempted by it.
But I heard Megan is good, actually, yeah.
Okay, so Emily Bronte is who the movie's based off of, who wrote Wuthering Heights.
Emily in Paris.
Not Emily in Paris. So she had Asperger's.
Asperger's, okay.
So, which is obviously at the time something that they didn't really know anything about.
Yeah.
So everyone's treating her like she's going crazy because she's got like a personality that's kind of all over the place. She doesn't necessarily understand social bounds and things like that at times. And so it's like an interesting look at how she was treated at the time. But also, it's just a good watch. And I think Emma Mackey is a great performer. She's obviously fantastic in sex ed. And this is another example of her just being really good at what she does. And I think this is Frances O'Connor, I think is the director. And it's her directorial debut, and I gotta say, it's really well directed. It's
dope.
It looks great. It sounds really good. That's something that really stood out to me is the score. And it's been a while since I've watched a movie and been like, damn, this score is like fire.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah.
I watched Inside Man. I finished it.
Okay, yeah.
Which is Steven's new show.
Yep.
I won't say much about it. I'll just say this. I think that the plot is just like really quite dumb and silly, and I feel like it all could have been resolved with a simple conversation,
right? Okay.
And there isn't a simple conversation, and I think that's the point he's going for. It's like things can just escalate, and that's fair enough, and I think if that was done well, it would have worked. It's only 4 episodes of like an hour each. I thought it was pretty mid, to be honest with you. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but there was definitely some stuff to enjoy about it. And yeah,
I'm going to start it very soon. So
I think you should definitely watch it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Other than that, I've just been chipping through The Boys season 3, so nothing really to report on there.
The Boys.
Connor, what would you? Oh, fuck me. Let me get this sting ready. Connor, what would you give Smile out of 10?
I don't want to be mean, but I'm going to give it a 4.
A 4? That's a rough one from Con.
Well, what the hell is there to enjoy about it, really? Like, there really isn't that much, and I just kind of sat here shitting on it for like 45 minutes.
I'm going to give it a 5.
Okay.
Because it's just like perfectly ordinary and run of the mill. Everything's just normal. Nothing stands out. And for me, that's like, okay, you made an episode. It's not shit. You know, you're not watching stuff and you're like, oh, that was done so badly. You know, you're just watching stuff and it's like, great. They're just doing shit for 45 minutes.
Yeah, okay.
It wrapped up pretty quick, I thought.
Yeah, well...
For an episode that's so slow, it wrapped up very quickly.
Yeah, I don't know.
I also had a recurring problem, where they rush their way into the intro for some reason. Like, it'll be a perfectly normal scene, and then all of a sudden there's a line that will come out of nowhere, and then 2, like, very quick, like, zooms in on things.
It's a quick scream.
Peter's Capaldi... Fuck, why can't I talk? Peter's theme just, like, screeches its way onto the screen, and it's like, fuck me.
Well, put it this way, though. I'm very excited for the next... next couple of episodes are going to be really cool. Like, I've always really liked Thin Ice, and I think Not Knock is interesting, and Oxygen and stuff.
Right, thank you very much for watching.
That's okay.
This was a nice short episode of the pod. We had a long one last year, so
last
week. God, my mind is so fucked. But yes, thank you very much for listening and watching this.
It's so hot.
This is very hot. Yeah, let's get out of this office. This brief short episode of the podcast. We'll be back next week for Thin Ice. Connor, I just want to say, oh, you make me smile.
You make me smile like the sun.
I just love how it stops. Like, it just cuts. It's Aiden's and Connor's podcast. They're doing Doctor Who reviews
on a weekday.
Doctor Who reviews. We know you do on a weekday. Hey!
Hey, Doctor Who is a
You
show.
make me smile.
Fuck's sake.
I had to.